some class rule to be stated. Okay, so there are a few rules, all right, that you need to be conscious of from the beginning. All right, so we agree. Okay, so I hope that we can agree on three rules. So the first one is always stay attentive. Okay, so in the first 2 semesters, speaking and pronunciation are combined in one class. All right. So in my speaking class, so obviously there will be lots of information, okay, conveyed to you. So I hope that you can give the best of your attention during the class, so you do not miss any information, okay, especially in some of the first one, when the new knowledge is given, right? So the second rule is be active. Yeah, obviously, because it is your speaking class. So so take advantage and try to make use of any opportunity to turn on your mic and then speak up. And last but not least, so if I don't find any volunteer to answer to the question, so I will call anyone. I will choose some people to speak up. So get ready to be called anytime and to get ready to give out your answers at any time. All right. Okay, so just we have some very few rules about so that you need to be aware of my speaking class. Okay, so now we're gonna turn into the first part of the class, which is about getting you through the course. Okay. All right. So I hope that you can note down, okay, some main highlights of the speaking skill in the second term. Okay, so the first semester and the second one have the same duration, which is 11 weeks. All right, so the same length of the course. We still have 3 types of assessment. So the first one is about attendance and participation, which accounts for 10%. All right, so this 10% goes to how you participate in the class, okay? How you make the contribution to the class, and also the completions of all the assigned homework, all right? So the second type of assessment goes to progress test. Okay, so here we have the progress test on week 7. So this one is pronunciation test. So I will go in any further detail in the progress test, but instead, Ms. Dung, okay, will provide you all the needed information for the progress test. So we have the last one, which is the final test. So obviously it's on the final week, okay, of the course. And this one, okay, we mark 60% of the whole course. So this one, you can look at the format. So the format of this term is different from the last term. All right. So how different it is? Okay. So you will be walk through the format of this skill, okay, in the second part of our class. Okay. So are you clear? Is it clear enough?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so don't forget that we have the progress test on week 7 and the final test and the final week. All right, so now let's move on to the main part of today's class, which is introduction to the speaking skill. Okay, the main speaking skill that you will be trained and you will be tested in the second term. Okay, so my very first question is, can you tell me what is the skill that you were trained, okay, and you were tested in the last term? All right, so can you try to record information on what was taught, okay, in the previous term for speaking? So what skill, okay, was the main skill that you were trained on in the previous term? All right, so let's change the question. So what happened in the final test in the last term? What did you do in the final test of the last term? Okay, take it easy, right? Because this question just requires you to recall some of the experience of your test. Okay, I was speaking last term. All right, so okay, so let me have a look at the list. Okay, so I'm gonna ask one familiar name. All right, someone that used to meet me in the last term. So Thúy.
Yes, sure.
That's good. All right, so yeah, so the same question. So what happened to you, to the whole, to every student in speaking in the final test of speaking last term?
Yeah, we were tested one by one with teacher, and there was some topic like job, travel, hobby, and yeah, I don't remember.
Okay, right. Thank you. All right, so that's right. So you were asked to prepare some topics, okay, but the main focus, right? The main focus of speaking in the first term is the interview skill. Okay, did you get it when I said interview skill? So in the test of the speaking last term, so you were mainly asked the questions by the interviewer, which is the teacher. So, and then you give your answers to the question that I ask, right? So the focus of speaking last term is interview skill, in which you are asked questions and and then you give the answers to the questions. Okay, so in different semesters, we have different skills illustrated, and also you were trained on different skills. So when we switch from the first skill to the to the second, when we switch from the first term to the second term, okay, so there will be a change in the skill that you will look into. All right. So if the main focus of the first term is on the interview skill, the second term, all right, we'll look at what we call the conversation skill. Okay, conversation skill. So the independence of the student will be more prioritized when you get to higher levels. So in the first term, okay, so you just take a bit passive role because you ask the question. So the interviewer or the teacher will decide on the topic and also the content that you are asked or you are tested. But in the second term, okay, you will take the more active role in speaking. All right, so you can design the content of your conversation. All right. Okay, so now I'm gonna brief more, okay, more detailed on the conversation skills. Right. So in academic context, like some conversation in university. So for example, when you are talking to each other in class about specific topics, okay, at that time, we don't use the term conversation, but instead we use another term, which is discussion, right? So if you are talking to each other, or if you are talking to the teacher about an academic topic, a serious topic, okay, something that you are studying about. So we do not use the term conversation, but we prefer to use the term discussion. All right, so that's why. Okay, we're gonna get back to this slide, the first line. Okay, so that's why here the format, okay, for the final test will be pair discussion. Okay, so which means that you're going to discuss in pair. Okay, so pair is two. So you're gonna carry out a discussion with two people. Okay, so there are two people, okay, joining in discussion, showing what you think about a given topic. All right. Okay, so let's back to the point so we were here, right? Okay, so conversation in academic context is called discussion. So that's exactly what you're gonna conduct in the second term for your speaking skill. Okay, obviously more difficult because this time, all right, you need to be active in deciding the content and also carrying out the whole discussion from the beginning to the end without any intervention of the teacher. Okay, so I will just be watching you. Okay, I will just be watching each pair doing the discussion, all right, for the whole 6 or 7 minutes, and I will evaluate you on a set of criteria. Okay, right. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out why discussion is essential for the student to be evaluated. Okay. So I'm not gonna mention the advantages of discussion straight away, but instead I'm gonna give you two quotes, two sayings, okay, of the famous people. All right. So here we have two sayings. Okay. So yes, I'm not gonna jump straight into explaining, okay, the two sayings, but instead I want you to have some reflections on the two sayings and what you think, okay, when you see them or when you happen to hear them from someone. Okay, so what do you think? What is your view, okay, on the two saying? Okay, and can you relate the two saying here to the role, okay, or the importance of discussion? All right. So for now, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to think about the two sayings on the slide. And then after that, if you have any idea of what the two saying is about, then you can raise your hands or you can turn on the mic to share with me and the whole class. Okay, so Ngọc Vi.
Yeah, so this is what I think. So normally blossom into fruition to me means if you don't speak your opinions out, then nobody's gonna know what you think in your head, and nobody will understand you. So just pick it up, even if it's wrong or if it's right. They can understand you and they can give you some advice.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Hey, very good. All right, so I could say V. Okay, so for the first saying, your explanation makes sense, make really good sense, and you've used the word okay effectively enough to to summarize it in a like easier way, like in a more simple way for all to understand. And yes, I think it reached a good level of I say understanding. Okay, this saying. Okay, to kind of highlight the significance of discussion in this case. Good job. All right. So, you were meant to say anything more? Actually, the second one.
I haven't considered the
Okay.
second one.
Okay. Good enough for the first one. That's good. All right. So well done. Okay. So try your best to speak in the speaking class. Okay. So anyone else, if you got an explanation for yourself, okay, don't hesitate to raise your voice and let the whole class know. All right, so now I'm gonna give you a fun fact about the second saying. So the second saying is actually the final questions, okay? The question of the final round in speaking contest, right? In our E department speaking contest in 2020, okay? And a student of second year has nailed it and got the first prize. So yeah, think about that, and you can give it a try to see what you think about the second saying.
I have some opinion.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna explain mirrors and windows here. I think mirror reflects ourselves. So when you have no education, then you just understand yourself, nothing else. When you turn mirrors into windows, then you can see through the windows. There are so many things that you haven't heard about it. Okay. So gonna be knowledgeable.
All right.
And, understand many things. Other apart from yourself.
All right. So what you mean is like the image of window gives a bit more interaction than mirrors, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Right, so that's a good one. Okay, so you are you are basing on the two images, okay, of the two objects, which are windows and mirrors, okay, and kind of related to relate the two images to the students, okay, to the students themselves, all right, and the development in the two levels. Good.
It's like education teaches us to have some different perspectives other than having our perspectives.
Okay, that's good. All right, so I think that you got the right understanding of the second saying. Okay, good. All right, so we've got say the explanation from Ngọc Vi, but at the same time, I will still want to hear from other people as well. Okay, so just tell me what you think. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. Okay, I just want to hear, to see what you've got. Okay, what kind of ideas you've got for the two sayings here. Okay, so can I hear from? Right. Okay, so we've got the opinion from a lady. So now, okay, I want to hear from a gentleman. So can I hear from Tuấn, please? Đức Tuấn.
So my understanding about this quote is that knowledge is somewhat, it has to be both theoretical and practical. So by expressing our opinions with others, we can apply what we learned and share with others, and get more experience, real life experience, to develop better.
All right, so that's for the first one. So what about the second one?
Actually, I explained that for the second one.
Okay, right. So you think that the meaning you just explained applies to both of the sayings, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. So I think that you've got the ideas, right? So, whenever you are given a task, I think it's an automatic reactions of your brain that you will start thinking and brainstorming about what is the task is given to you. Okay. So I think everyone here has an opinion, has some ideas about the two saying, how to explain it. Okay. How do you understand it yourself? Okay, and from the two people that just raised their voices, I think that you can speak. Okay, you can speak at length, you can speak without pauses. All right, so why don't you just show it to the people? Okay, just don't hesitate to show your speaking skill. All right, okay, so thank you very much on demonstrating, okay, the your understanding of the two sayings. So now I'm going to finalize on what exactly, okay, the two saying means. Okay, so for the first one, which is opinions do not really blossom into fruition. Okay, so I think the abstract part of the saying is blossom into fruition. All right, so I think you get the meaning. Okay, just it's kind of difficult, it's kind of challenging task to explain something abstract, right, into something concrete. Okay, so you know the two words, right? Abstract and concrete. Trừu tượng cụ thể. Okay, abstract and concrete. All right, so it's difficult. It's a difficult task to explain. Okay, so here, it's that the opinions do not really blossom into fruition. Blossom, you know the meaning, and also fruition, you can get it as well. Okay, so the meaning of the first saying is, okay, so for example, I think everyone has their own opinions. Okay, so towards a matter. And so, for example, when you hear an issue or when you hear a matter, you always develop an opinion for yourself, like what you think about it. Okay, do you think it's right or wrong? Do you think it is good or bad? All right, so you have your own judgment. But when you hold your opinions for too long, when you don't say it to anyone, then it's very likely that you're going to develop a belief, okay, on your opinions, and you will take actions based on your opinions. All right, so if you think something is good, then you will start to following it, right? If you think something is bad, you will try to avoid it, okay? But you just keep your opinions for yourself. So you just like silently, okay, take actions based on what you believe, okay? But when you start sharing it to someone, okay, so in the case that that person agrees with you on your opinion, then your belief is strengthened, okay? So you believe more in like what you think so far, okay? And you don't hesitate to take action, all right? But if you share it to someone who disagrees with you, then you would probably wonder, okay, so why this person is holding a completely opposite belief or opinion compared to mine, okay? And you will be like curious to hear what the person thinks, okay, and what kind of evidence or what kind of information he or she has to advocate, okay, his opinion, all right? So in the end, okay, so you may defend your idea. You may have the other person to change their idea to yours, or you may have your idea changed right inside you. Okay, so when you have your opinion voiced to other people, you are making changes to either yourself or to someone else's life. Okay, so the discussion is essential in life, because once you've started to raise the voice, okay, someone else, okay, other people will know what you think, all right? So from the discussion, you may have the changes, okay, because you can hear from different aspects, you can see the matter from different angles, all right? So that's why opinions, okay, need to be shared, need to be, spoken out, all right? So that's the first one. So for the second one, I think it says a very, I think it says an abstract saying. So this one, the whole purpose of education is to turn mirrors into windows. So we have two images, two objects, mirrors and windows. So the two objects here is actually the reflection of the students in two different stages. Okay, two different stages. And if the education journey is successful, okay, the student will be turned from one state, okay, or one level, moving up to a higher level. So we say the lower level here is the mirrors, all right? So the mirrors, okay, so if someone stand in front of the mirror, they will see the reflection of themselves, okay, right? Because that's how the mirrors work, right? Okay, so here we are comparing the students to the mirror. So when the teacher stand in front of the mirror, okay, the student, okay, will see the reflections of teachers in themselves. So in the early stage of education, all right, when the students doesn't have, the good enough critical thinking, so they will get the knowledge and also some of the viewpoints from the teachers. So the students can learn by heart, okay, or they can have them rote memorizations on what they are told and what they are taught. Okay, so they are the reflections of what he taught to them. But then when they reach an older state, okay, when they reach an older state and when they develop their critical thinking, when they start to think more about different issues or different topics, they can be turned into windows. So we are talking about open windows, okay, open windows. So open windows here refers to the interaction. All right, so you are no longer passively getting the information or viewpoints from someone, but here we have the exchange of opinions. So you got your opinions, the student got their opinions, and then they can exchange it to other people. Sometimes they can talk back to the teachers, right? So the main purpose is getting you to be an individual who have the own opinions on a certain issue, all right? So you need to have your own critical thinking. You need to develop your opinion, your viewpoint, your standpoint. Okay, where are you standing? Like, how do you see a matter? Is it different from other people around you? Okay, so you can only know when you say it, okay? When you voice it out. All right. So whatever happens, you need to say it. You need to share it. And that means discussion is important. Discussion is the key to the development. Okay, you see my point? All right, so here we are using the two famous sayings of Mark Twain and Sidney J. Harris to demonstrate, to manifest the importance of discussion. All right, so that's why we have discussion is integrated into like the test, okay, a skill that needs to be tested for university student. Okay, so we have the two sayings that sound quite abstract, but then in the next slide, okay, I'm also give you, all right, the advantages, okay, so like the upside of discussion in academic context in university, okay, like how discussion benefits students during university life, okay. So here we have lots of points, all right, to kind of illustrate the benefits of discussion. Okay, so have a look. Okay, right. So we have still some more. We have some more to illustrate further on the role of discussion. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so another question for you. So how many senses do you need to engage while you are doing a discussion? How many senses? Okay, so can I hear from Thùy Dương, please? Thùy Dương? Okay, so if you happen to hear your name called out, just turn on the mic. Okay, if you are not clear about the questions, and I don't mind paraphrasing the question again for you.
Em thưa cô là Dương nào ạ?
Okay, sorry. So there are two Thùy Dương. Okay, so I think the one I've just got is Nguyễn Thị Thùy Dương. Okay, so right. So my question is, how many senses do you need to engage if you do a discussion? If you are talking to other people?
Actually, I think it's too many sentences. Like
Okay, so the keyword is senses. Okay, sense. Do you know that word?
Sorry, I don't know what it means.
Okay, so I'm gonna write it for everyone else to see as well. So my question is, how many senses? The sense, right? Like hearing, okay, touching, smelling, tasting. So how many senses are engaged in a discussion that you need to use?
I think we need to hearing. We need to hear, to talk,
Right, exactly. Okay. So to get yourself involved in a discussion, okay, apart from speaking, you also need to be a good listener as well. So in order to conduct an effective discussion, it is important to be a good listener. That means you need to be good with your listening skill. Okay, so why is it? Because you think 6 or 7 minutes is not a long time, but when you are talking, okay, non-stop for 6 or 7 minutes, okay, the time, okay, is actually not that short. Okay, so you need to like constantly process the information, okay, to speak and also to get from other people, okay, to get from your partner. All right. So for most of the time, for the whole time, it is important to stay attentive and focus on what is being conveyed by the partner, so you do not miss any information. And you need to stay attentive so you get the full idea and you can evaluate what is being said. Okay, so why do we say that we need to evaluate what is being said? Because when you give our question, you are expecting a relevant answer to your question. Okay, so you need to listen to see if your partner have got your question correctly or not. So if your partner is giving an irrelevant answer or an answer that is off topic, you need to make a polite intervention and let the person know that they're answering the wrong aspect of the question. Okay, so you are changing them to the right course, all right, at the right time. Okay, so just don't let them go too far, like too far away from the topic or from the question if you just asked. All right, and then, okay, so when you are listening, make sure that you will listen with an open mind. Be open-minded about ideas, okay? Because it doesn't right. So when you hold an opinion, okay, it doesn't mean that your opinion is always right. All right, because we always have two sides of the problem, two sides of the coin, okay, like two sides of a problem. So, for example, you're standing from this angle to see the issue. Your friend may standing from another angle. So when you are listening, when you are talking to each other, is the opportunity for you to get to know where, okay, your partner is standing to see the problem. Okay, so listen with an open mind. All right. Okay, so here we have the two skills that are trained, okay, are practiced in a discussion, which are speaking skill, obviously, and also the listening skill as well. So here we have the role, okay, of the discussion is highlighted. All right, so during lecture, make sure that you will take some notes. Okay, so later, I do not include everything on the slide. So later you will be sent the slide, but you need to have the notes of my explanation. So when you look at the slide, everything, all the details on the slide can make sense to you. Okay, so now we're gonna move to the main, I think this is the most difficult question, the main difficult questions, which is how to discuss. Okay, so we know the significance, so we know why discussion is important, but the main point here is how to carry out a discussion. Okay, right, so okay, so here we have, for example, you are given a topic which is speed dating. Okay, so I assign your pair to a topic. So I said, all right, so carry out a discussion on the topic speed dating. Okay, so when you get a topic like this, the first thing that comes to your mind is what kind of questions you can use to exploit the topic speed dating. Okay, because it is a conversation, it's a discussion. So you need to talk to each other and then also ask each other different questions. Okay, so if you yourself are given this topic, what kind of question you think that you would ask your partner?
Name, age, job, Where you have.
All right, so you guys can think about the given topic. So can you brainstorm some questions, and then can you also put it in the chat box, please?
I think I will ask him about his job or hobby.
Okay. All right, so what I mean here is we're gonna talk about the talk of speed dating in general. All right, so what do you think about it? Okay, so I'm gonna give you some instruction on this. Okay, so when a pair, okay, when you and your partner is given a topic by the teacher, for example, like in this case, speed dating, okay, so you will find different questions to build your discussion, okay, some core question, okay, that can be used as the frame for the discussion. So some of the question that you can use is, sorry. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the question later. Okay, so here we go. So here we are referring to like way to start a discussion. Sorry about this one. Okay, so in order to start a discussion, you can't jump straight in by asking different questions, but you need to give a context to start the discussion. For example, you can mention a story. Okay, so hey, my sister, you know what? My sister just went through an experience of this speed dating, and she said it was great. Okay, so have you ever tried speed dating before? All right, so try to give your discussion a context instead of jumping straight in, okay, with a question, right? Or you can mention one of your own experience on speed dating. Okay, so the first point whenever you start a discussion is to give the topic a context to appear. Okay, so be creative in creating the context. All right, so you can give a story, you can give an article, or you can mention a fact that you've read in a newspaper, for example, about the topic, okay, and start raising questions. Okay, so that's the first thing. Okay, so it all comes down to your creativity in building, okay, in building the context for the beginning of your discussion. All right, so now it's time. Okay, so now is the point of thinking about the question. So during the discussion, we said that discussion is actually the process of asking question, of answering questions, right? So we need to think of relevant question to the topic, and we need to also showing the opinions on certain questions as well. Okay, so here, right, so what kind of question I consider relevant to the topic? So we're gonna get back to this topic, which is speed dating. Okay, so some of the questions that can be asked about this topic can be, what is it? Okay, so whenever you are given a topic, always wonder, what is the definition of it? Okay, so what is it? What is speed dating? So you can share, okay, your own definition and your partner definition on speed dating, or a kind of definition that you read somewhere, a definition by an expert in the field. Okay, so the first thing is always find out what is it. All right, and then after you've got the definitions of the topic, then you can share your experience. So have you gone through, okay, have you undergone an experience of speed dating or not? All right, so we're gonna go from easy, we're gonna go from the specific fast. Okay, so what is it? Have you got an experience on that? Okay, and then we're gonna go to more difficult question like this one. What do you think about speed dating? So here you are asked to share your opinion on the topic. What do you think? Okay, and another one, would you like to try it someday? All right, so in a 6 or 7 minutes discussion, you can use the 4 questions here. okay, to explore the topic speed dating, or you can develop your own set of questions. Okay, so because it is all about the creativity. So as long as your discussion is about the topic speed dating, you can use any questions, all right, to ask your partner, and also your partner can ask you back. You see my point? Right? So the set of question here is not decided by the teacher, but by yourself. Okay, how you can create a framework, how you can structure your discussion yourself. All right. Okay, so we have two parts. So the first part is thinking of the questions, and the second part is answering the questions. And so how to answer the question. So here we have two steps. Okay, so you need to show your opinions. So here, how to format and then how to present it in words. Okay, so we're going to talk about the first step, which is how to form an opinion. So the first step is something happened inside you. Okay, something happened intrinsically. All right, something happened internally. Okay, so here we have different steps, but I'm not putting it in the right order. So can you look at all the steps, okay, of how to form an opinion, and can you put it in the right order, please? So what do you think, okay, should happen first? All right, and then what happened next and what happened last? Okay, so now you can put the order, okay, your own order into the chat box. All right, Thùy Trang and Phương and Quỳnh. Okay, thank you very much for the answer. So what about other people? Okay, thank you very much. All right, so I've just looked quickly at all your answers and I found that some of the answers are slightly different compared to others. Yeah. All right, thank you. Okay, so now we're gonna review the correct answers to see if you got the right one. Okay, so do you think you got the right one? Can you compare the correct answers to your answers? All right, so I think there are two steps that can be a bit tricky. Okay, it could be a bit tricky and can mislead you into the incorrect order. Okay, so now we're gonna analyze the correct answers. Okay, so here you guys think that we need to. Okay, so we have a look. So B, A, D, C, E. So you say after B we have A first. Learn about the subject. All right, I see. Okay, so now I'm gonna explain it. Okay, so why we need to have D. Okay, why we need to have D happening before A. Okay, so here we have the correct answer. So the first one obviously is B. Okay, so you can choose the subject or you are given a subject. You are assigned to a subject. Okay, you are assigned to a topic by the teacher. All right, so obviously the first step is B. So after that we have, okay, so here the correct answer is D. Okay, so when you see the topic, all right, like I said, okay, when you see the topic, because we can say that you are a grown individual. Okay, so you have collected the knowledge for 18 years or 19 years already. All right, so for example, when you hear about the term cohabitation, okay, right inside your mind, you have certain opinions about the topic already. Okay, so the first thing is, this is something that happened really quickly inside your mind. So when you hear the topic, okay, or when you see it, you will straight away, okay, automatically happen in your brain. Okay, you will start thinking about the topic and see, like, to what level, to what extent do you agree, okay, or do you disagree, or do you support, all right, or do you oppose, okay, the opinion given. All right, so that's why we have D happen first, okay, because you're gonna base on what you've got, all right, the background knowledge that you've got so far to already set an opinion on a given topic. All right, so that's the second step of the process. Okay, so after you've set an opinion, after you set a certain opinion on the topic, it's time to actually look at more sources. Okay, it's time to collect more sources. So we have A, okay, is the third step after D. All right, so A, step number 3 is learn about the subject. So here you're gonna go research. So you can research in different sources on the internet, or you can talk to different people, for example, your teacher, to discuss further, okay, and to collect more standpoints about the issue. So, for example, you are opposing, okay, you are disagreeing with cohabitation, but then you read from some sources that there are certain advantages of cohabitation, then probably you change your mind. All right, so we have A, okay, B, D, and A, and after that, okay, so after you've evaluated, after you've collected all the sources, even yourself, okay, so do you think that you're gonna keep the earlier opinion, or you would like to change it? Okay, so this is something that happened internally. Okay, something happened inside your brain when you form the opinion. Okay, so after you have your fixed opinion, then it's time to talk about it to someone. All right, so there can be two cases, either agreement or disagreement. So you will be willing to state it or defend it. All right, but sometimes you can be convinced by your partner. Okay, so this is the process of how you form your opinion inside your brain, and then the final step would be voicing it out, to make changes to other people or get yourself changed. Okay. All right, so we have step from B to E is something that happened inside, and we have the last step, which is C, is when you voice it out. Okay, something that happened externally. Okay. All right, so here, okay, so the emphasis of this process is to reflecting and also is researching. Okay, so don't just base on just your information, your knowledge, but you need to search about it, you go to researching about the topic given as well. So you've got lots of evidence, okay, to either strengthen your opinion or either to change your opinion to a better one. All right. Okay, so over time, when you get older, your opinions will change. Okay, because you get yourself exposed to lots of new experiences and also get to read more. Okay, so this is something, like essential. Okay, something logical, something would happen to everyone. Okay. All right, so that's the first one. That's the first step of the process, which is to form opinion right inside your brain. Okay, so the next step is to present an opinion. So this is the final one, which is E. Okay, C. The final one, C. So when you get it, reach out to other people. Okay, how to present it to other people. So here we break it down into two smaller steps. So the first one is state your opinion. All right, so when do you need to state your opinion? So we're gonna get back to this line when we have 4 questions about the topic speed dating. All right, so the first question, you just need to provide your definition, your own definitions, or any definition that you happen to see somewhere. The second one, for the second question, have you ever tried speed dating? You just mentioned your experience. So if you have, then you just said yes, and you talk about the experience. If you haven't, then you just said no. Okay, and we move to the third question. So this one, right, requires you to mention your opinion. What do you think about speed dating? Or in other words, do you think speed dating is good or bad? Okay, do you support speed dating or not? So here, the third question requires you to give out, to state your opinion. Okay, so we're gonna deal with this question. And question number 4 is one that requires your opinion as well. Okay, so why do you like to try it? If you say yes, I want to try it someday. All right, so that means you need to support it, or you need to oppose it if you don't agree, or if you don't want to try it as well. Okay, so we're gonna look further into this question. What do you think about speed dating? Okay, so here, if your answer is, I think speed dating is a good way for young people to get acquainted. So you say you are supporting, you are advocating it. Okay, so here, if you just mention this one sentence, then it's not good enough. All right, if you just end here with this sentence, then it's not good enough. Why? Because this sentence is called a value judgment. Okay, if you stop here, if you just say, okay, so I think it's good for young people, then it is a value judgment. So a value judgment is a judgment that is made based on your own value. All right, so this is something that is made on your personal preferences, your personal beliefs, rather than any rational thinking or any evidence. So you can just say that it's good or bad. You don't have any evidence to support your saying. Okay, so it's just your opinion. It's just your personal belief. All right, you can support it using any credible, okay, any credible evidence, okay, from any sources. That can be expert opinion or any result of a research. All right, so in any academic discussion, avoid making value judgment. All right, so whenever you mention your viewpoint, which is yes or no, agree or disagree, always try to support with evidence. Okay, so after you state your opinion, make sure that you have something to support it. All right, so here I'm going to provide you some ways, some techniques that you can use to support your opinion. So we have some common ways, which are common knowledge, or anecdotes, or examples, or statistics, and last but not least, expert opinion. So you can use these techniques, okay, to support your opinion. All right? Okay, so don't ever just say something is good or bad, but always provide the evidence to show why is it good and why is it bad. Okay, so here we have 5 techniques, 5 common techniques, okay, as you can see on the slide. And now we're gonna practice into finding out, okay, into finding out more about each technique, right? So here I'm gonna show you an exercise that you can do to practice your critical thinking to decide which one, okay, is what kind of technique that's mentioned. Okay, so here we have one exercise for you to do together. So we have 2 steps, right, that you will use to state your or present your opinion. So the first one I already said, I already explained it. So the second one is how you can support your opinion by using the 5 techniques here. Okay, so for each technique, I've used a different color. All right, so here, right below the techniques, we have some stories, some examples. Okay, so you're gonna analyze each story here, and then you will use the color. For example, if you think the first sentence is presenting a common knowledge, then you're gonna highlight it with the yellow one. Okay, if you think that the second one is using the expert opinion, okay, then you're gonna use the gray one. All right, so you would use the bright color here to indicate what kind of evidence or what kind of techniques is utilized in each example. Okay, and after you have analyzed, right, and highlight all the evidence with the right color, you're gonna write down the technique here as well. So for example, this the first story A, have used examples and common knowledge, then you will write here. All right, so we have 3 examples for you to work together, okay, and then to think about it and to identify, okay, different types of techniques as illustrated above. Okay, so for this one, we're gonna do it very quickly. So I'm gonna put you into different groups, okay, because when we have more brains, then we can do things quicker. All right, so I'm creating rooms with up to 5 people. Okay, so I'm gonna give you 50 minutes to do this task. Right, so the first thing you're gonna do is get into the rooms, all right? And then go to class materials to download the file and then work together, okay? So after 50 minutes, you're gonna change the file to your group's name. Okay, so for example, if you're in group number 1, then you will change the name of the file to group number 1 and then upload it to the folder as required. All right, so I will give you further instruction why you are in the group. Okay, so now let's join the group and hold hands together to accomplish the task.
Hello mọi người ơi, mình làm cái đầu tiên nha. có có 3 đoạn như này thì đoạn B chia đôi được không nhỉ? Alo.
Cứ làm đoạn C cho.
Tuấn ơi, cái file này ghi lâu vậy?
Cái đấy ở trong chỗ material hay sao ấy? Ở chỗ file. Đây nó ở chỗ week 1 này. Đây. Take next to present your opinion.
Okay, thank you.
Technique to present your opinion.
Mọi người ơi, chắc mọi người từ đấy cũng ngồi tự làm rồi bay chúng mình trao đổi phải không?
Đi trao đổi còn nộp bài nữa.
Câu đầu tiên mọi người làm như nào đấy? Đây, làm statistics này. Alo.
Cái câu đầu tớ nghĩ nó đơn thuần chỉ là một cái common knowledge thôi chứ không cần chưa đến mức là statistics đâu.
Cô bảo cái gì là được dùng cả nhiều biện pháp đúng không?
Nhiều biện pháp trong một đoạn được mà.
Trang với Linh nghĩ sao? Trang
Statistics.
Tôi cũng nghĩ là statistics.
Thế mình để 1 hay là để 2?
Mình còn phải highlight một câu nữa chứ đúng không?
Để highlight nữa. Rồi, tôi gấp nhỉ. Câu đầu là common knowledge. Đây phần A làm như này đúng chưa nhỉ?
Tớ cũng làm đấy.
Ok rồi. Phần B này. Mọi người kia nói đi nhé, cho nó nhanh một tí. Vừa nãy tớ kiểu xác định chung đấy.
Câu 1, câu 2 tôi vẫn nghĩ là common thôi. Đến cái câu 3 for example thì rõ ràng là example rồi.
Đây, cứ để cả hai đi vậy. Câu thứ 2 của đoạn này là example đúng không? Chỗ nào tôi có làm sai thì mọi người bảo nhé. Cái anecdote này là cái gì nhỉ? Kiểu kể chuyện à?
Fun story gì đấy nhưng mà tôi cũng chưa hiểu được rõ nó là như thế nào.
Các đoạn này là bắt đầu kể này, còn đây là lấy ví dụ. Không phải là
Vâng đấy.
ví dụ. Thế đoạn 2 để cái technique chung như này đúng chưa?
Chỗ for example cho mỗi kia.
Rồi đấy. Đúng rồi.
Một phần gì thay đổi không?
Đây tớ để như này, mọi người thấy sao? Ổn chưa?
Alright, so welcome back to the main section. Ok, rồi bây giờ các em sẽ submit bài vào trong phần trong cái folder mà cô được hướng dẫn. Không sợ sai đâu nhé, cứ làm theo ý hiểu đi, mới buổi đầu thôi. Okay, so I've seen 3 groups submitting already. So group 2, group 4, and group 6. Good job. Okay, so can other group also submit your files, please? All right. Okay, so now I'm gonna show. Okay, so I will check your some of the groups' performances first. All right, good. Okay, so here we have 6 groups. I think we still have one more. Okay. Okay, so I will go check each group performance, okay, to see what you think and what kind of techniques are used in each example. Okay, but because of the time limit, now I'm gonna go straight to explaining. Okay, different story. Okay, I'm gonna make it say simple. Okay, right. Okay, so here we have the correct answers for each example. So can you have a look and see if you got the right color for each example or not? Okay, so the tip to do this kind of exercise is to look at it. So look at the example, the story as a big picture. Okay, so what is the main message? What is the main idea of the whole story? Okay, and what kind of evidence is used to support, to highlight that main message? Okay. Alright, bây giờ các bạn sẽ nhìn vào cái câu chuyện đầu tiên cho cô nhé. Thì thường chúng ta thấy là các main idea sẽ được đứng ở đầu đoạn, đúng không? Okay, thì đây chính là main idea này. Và một lần nữa nó được gì? Nó được tóm tắt lại ý chính này ở câu cuối cùng nữa. Thế đây người ta chỉ ra cái tác dụng của gì là roundabouts là gì? Có bạn nào dịch từ roundabout sang tiếng Việt cho cô không?
Vòng xuyến à?
Bùng binh. Okay, yeah, you can say that. Alright, roundabouts. Và đây người ta chỉ ra tác dụng, đúng không nhỉ? Tác dụng đây chính là gì nhỉ? Reductions of accidents, okay, and injury caused by accidents. Alright, so the main technique that is used here is you can see the numbers. Đúng nhỉ? Ở đây người ta đang đưa ra cái kết quả của một cái nghiên cứu để chỉ ra được vai trò của việc xây dựng bùng binh, làm giảm số lượng các vụ tai nạn. Đấy, thì mình có thể thấy là người ta viết rất là dài và có rất nhiều từ mới. Nhưng mà chúng ta thấy trước hết chúng ta sẽ chú ý đến các con số này. Và các con số này tác dụng của nó là gì? Nó có hướng tới cái main point mình xác định ở câu đầu và câu cuối bài hay không? Thế nên khi mà chúng ta nhìn vào các con số này, nó chính là kết quả nghiên cứu và nó đang hướng tới cái việc là bổ sung cho làm chúng ta hiểu là làm rõ ràng hơn cái kết quả của việc xây dựng các bùng binh. Okay. Nên trong trường hợp này chúng ta xác định được là gì? Người ta đưa ra cái kết quả nghiên cứu này và người ta đang sử dụng các số liệu để gì? Hỗ trợ làm nổi bật lên kết quả nghiên cứu này. Thì chúng ta sẽ gì? Đơn giản nói là sử dụng statistics thôi, đúng không? Okay. Tiếp theo này, B nhá. Alright. Ở đây chúng ta đang nói về quyền của phụ nữ trong việc được gì? Được bầu cử, đúng không nhỉ? Okay. Ở đây nhá, thì cái đầu tiên, cái technique đầu tiên chúng ta cần phải xác định được đó là gì? Màu xanh chính là examples. Quá đơn giản, sử dụng cụm for example. Okay, the suffragists. So the suffragists are the ones, okay, who has found to gain the woman's right to vote. Okay, những người đấu tranh vì quyền bình đẳng và cụ thể đây là quyền được bầu cử, đúng không nhỉ? Alright, chính là gì? Suffragists. Okay, thì đây chúng ta đã đưa ra những người đấu tranh và những cái gì họ phải chịu đựng, đúng không? Thì đây chính là những cái ví dụ để chứng minh được nó là cái hard won này. Okay, tức là phải rất là khó để có thể giành được nó, hard won mà. Đấy, và những người đã đứng ra đấu tranh và những cái gì họ phải chịu đựng để đấu tranh được cái quyền đó. Okay. Thì cái biện pháp đầu tiên chúng ta sử dụng đấy là examples. Tại sao nó lại là hard won? Right? Bởi vì người ta đã won theo cách như thế nào mà nó được coi là hard, đúng không nhỉ? Đấy. Còn ở đây nhé, cô highlight cái phần này thì đây là một technique mà nó sẽ áp dụng với tùy từng trường hợp. Ví dụ ở đây chúng ta đang sử dụng màu vàng để thể hiện common knowledge, đúng không nhỉ? Thì nó cũng sẽ giải thích vì sao nó lại là common knowledge và tại sao nó không phải là áp dụng đối với tất cả mọi người khi mà chúng ta đọc cái câu này. Okay. Alright, thì đây là optional nhé, đúng không nhỉ? Cái technique này là optional, còn technique này là bắt buộc phải nhìn ra này, cần phải nhìn ra luôn này. Đấy. Và cuối cùng bài C thì rất là đơn giản rồi. Đơn giản đây chúng ta gì? Chúng ta thấy đấy chính là Professor Miller's okay, opinions, right? Because she believes. Okay, so here we are using the expert opinion in example C, right? Rồi bây giờ cô sẽ giải thích cái câu này. Cái câu women's right to vote is a relatively new and hard-won privilege. Okay, so we're gonna get back to the slide and to find out what is called common knowledge. Đây, bây giờ cô sẽ share lại cái slide này nhé. Mình sẽ làm nhanh nhé, để các bạn còn nghỉ này. Alright, so we were here at this point when I've listed the 5 common techniques that you can use to support your opinions. Okay, so other ones are easy. Alright, so you know what is expert opinion. Okay, so what are statistics and what are examples? So in anecdotes, it's actually stories. Ở đây đơn giản cái từ này là gì? Là story, là câu chuyện thôi. Người ta sử dụng một từ khác thôi, đồng nghĩa anecdotes. Alright, so we're gonna talk further about common knowledge. So common knowledge, okay, is the knowledge that is common, alright, or we can say that is the knowledge that are known by the majority of people, or let's say all people then. Okay, so when you mention this kind of knowledge, you don't have to cite, you don't have to refer to the sources where you get it, because this is known by everyone. Đây là kiến thức chung, kiến thức nền, được không nhỉ? Kiến thức nền có nghĩa là khi các em nhắc tới thì các em không cần phải đưa ra cái nguồn mà các em lấy cái kiến thức này từ đâu. Bởi vì sao? Bởi vì đây là kiến thức chung mà tất cả mọi người đều biết. Okay. Chúng ta hiểu là đây là cái kiến thức của nhân loại rồi, nên chúng ta không cần phải chỉ ra là ai là người đã tìm ra kiến thức này. Nó không giống như là khi mà các em sử dụng con số. Đấy, khi em sử dụng các nghiên cứu khoa học, kết quả các nghiên cứu khoa học thì em phải chỉ ra là ai là người đã thực hiện cái kết quả này và ai là người đã thực hiện cái nghiên cứu này và đưa ra kết quả này. Đúng nhỉ? For example, okay, smoking can cause lung disease. So this is something that I think everyone should know, or the majority of the population should know about the bad effect caused by smoking. All right, so this one is referred to as common knowledge. Được chưa nhỉ? Okay, thế nên đối với những cái trường hợp như thế này thì chúng ta sẽ coi nó là kiến thức chung, kiến thức nền tảng xã hội, và chúng ta không cần phải nhắc tới ai là người đã sáng tạo ra, ai là người đã tìm ra cái kiến thức này. Đấy. Còn cái trường hợp trong câu chuyện B ấy, Đấy, cái câu đó ấy, nó sẽ tùy thuộc vào cái việc mà chúng ta cho rằng đấy, cái thông tin về quyền bầu cử của nữ giới ấy, đấy, cái có phải là cái hard won privilege đấy, thì nếu mình cho rằng đó là một cái gì đó mọi người đều biết, thì khi chúng ta đưa ra cái thông tin đó, chúng ta coi đó là common knowledge. Còn nếu như chúng ta cho rằng không phải ai cũng biết cái kiến thức đó đấy, thì chúng ta sẽ chỉ đơn giản cho rằng là chúng ta đang đưa ra một câu kết luận, và đằng sau chúng ta cần phải gì, chúng ta cần phải đưa ra các bằng chứng để hỗ trợ cho cái opinion đó, đúng nhỉ? Okay, so it actually depends. So you have to think about whether your audience, okay, knows about this one, whether it is a common knowledge, whether it is known by the majority of people or not, to decide if it is the common knowledge. Được không nhỉ? Okay, thế nên cô cho cái đó là optional. Alright? Okay, bởi vì trong trường hợp của cô nghĩ là not everyone knows that that one is a privilege, that is hard won, which means we think about it as a right, okay, that it has been found over a long period of time, okay, by certain people, okay, to gain what we have today. Okay, yeah. No, so today we just look at some examples. So to make you aware of the importance of using the evidence, okay, of using evidence in different forms to support your opinions. All right. So later, whenever you say something, don't just mention one sentence, okay? Or more specifically, don't just say that this is good or this is bad. You have to mention why do you think it is good? Why do you think it is bad? Why do you agree or why do you disagree with something? Okay. Rồi, ngoài ra nhé, trong buổi hôm nay thì cô sẽ giới thiệu thêm một cái project mà các bạn sẽ thực hiện trong kỳ này, đó là peer discussion project. So you know, peer discussion is the main focus, okay, the highlighted skill of this term. So this project is targeted at getting you the confidence, okay, to practice and also to train yourself to be more skillful in discussing in pairs. All right, so that's why we have this project. Okay, so because we are doing the pair discussion, that means you need to divide yourself, the whole class, into different pairs. So if I look at the class list, I've seen that there are 30 students, which means that we have 15 pairs. So in the case that you have an odd number, okay, an odd number of students, then there will be one group with 3 people. Các bạn hiểu ý cô không nhỉ? Cô xem danh sách hiện tại thì là có 30 bạn, nhưng mà nếu trong trường hợp là thừa ra một bạn thì sẽ có một nhóm mà phải có 3 thành viên, đúng nhỉ? Còn các nhóm còn lại sẽ là các cặp. Okay, không vấn đề gì cả. Nếu các bạn có 3 thành viên thì các bạn sẽ có thời gian nói nhiều hơn. Alright. Thế thì chúng ta sẽ thực hiện đấy là gì nhỉ? From week 3. Okay, so I will assign 2 or 3 pairs to a topic. So you need to work together and then choose a set of questions that you will use to discuss with each other. Alright, so you're gonna discuss and then record yourself and upload the video to the folder. Okay, so I will give you more information on how to upload the video to what folder. Okay, and then I will assign other pairs to take turns to give comments, to give feedback to different pairs performances. Alright, thì các em sẽ tập cái dạng là thảo luận theo cặp, đúng không nhỉ? Và các em sẽ tập bằng cách là chúng ta sẽ quay video. Các em sẽ có thể chủ động để quyết định các câu hỏi các em sẽ đưa vào trong phần discussion. Okay, và các em sẽ chủ động sáng tạo về mặt nội dung. Và các em sẽ quay video để up lên để cho các bạn có thể nhận xét. Nhận xét đây sẽ trên nhiều khía cạnh, ví dụ như là pronunciation. Okay. The manners, are you a polite speaker or not? Okay. Ví dụ như các em khi mà các em thể hiện sự đồng tình thì các bạn sẽ đánh giá xem là các em có đang thể hiện cái sự phản đối chẳng hạn theo một cách lịch sự khéo léo hay không. Okay. So you need to think about that. Cái này thì chúng ta sẽ thực hiện từ tuần số 3, tức là sau khi các em đã có một cái nhìn tổng thể về peer discussion này, và các em sẽ có những cái từ vựng các cấu trúc ngữ pháp chúng ta thường sử dụng ở trong phần pair discussion. Đúng nhỉ? Okay. So any questions about this project, you can raise the question for now, and I will answer straight away. Alright. Thế thì để làm được việc này thì các em sẽ cần phải ghép cặp với nhau. Nhớ nhỉ, các em sẽ cần phải ghép cặp với nhau. Thế thì lớp trưởng lớp mình là ai nhỉ? Lớp mình đã phân lớp trưởng chưa? Ok, các bạn sẽ ghép cặp với nhau và các bạn sẽ gửi cho cô một cái danh sách nhé. Là có bao nhiêu cặp như này, các bạn sẽ đánh số cứ random thôi. Okay. Sau đó thì cô chắc là cô sẽ bốc random để xem là thứ tự làm video theo từng tuần sẽ là như thế nào. Okay, so are you clear? All right. So there were no questions raised, so that so I presume that you are all clear about the requirement for the project. All right. So that's it. I think that's it for the first class. Okay. So we just go through a very brief picture of what the discussion is and what you need to do in a discussion. All right. So that's just simply wrap up for the first class, a speaking skill. Okay. So it may sound quite vague. Okay, it may sound quite abstract from the beginning, but then in the next sections, where you have the chance to practice, and you will think that it is just difficult it's just easy and simple as the first the skill of the first semester. All right. So if you have no question, I think that we can end the class here. So get ready for the next class, which is on pronunciation. Okay. Right. So I will see you next week. Okay, make sure that you will form the pairs inside the class and then submit the list to me. All right? Is it okay?
Em thưa cô.
Yeah.
Hình như là bạn lớp trưởng học ở lớp khác rồi hay sao ấy ạ?
Okay. Rồi. Thế thì các em sẽ bầu với nhau một bạn lớp trưởng. Okay. Chủ yếu là để liên lạc với cô thôi. Có vấn đề gì thì liên lạc với cô thôi. Còn chủ yếu thì trong lúc chúng nào thì chúng ta chủ động thôi nhé. Và các bạn sẽ tạo một cái danh sách và gửi danh sách theo từng cặp cho cô là được. Đúng nhỉ? Alright, so please have a break. Okay, I will see you next week. Thank you very much for joining in the class. Thank you.